The FDA's approval of the over-the-counter Naloxone or Narcan could be a game changer in the fight against opioid overdoses.
The nasal spray can reverse the effect of opioids, including street drugs like heroin, prescription pills, and fentanyl, which is driving up overdoses in the U.S.
First responders use Narcan, and they say increasing access is an important step. Brady Mallory tells us why. Brady?
Addiction doesn't discriminate, and maybe it's already affected you or your loved ones out there. I'm talking with a member of Madison's overdose response team and a national advocate fighting for change because she knows the tragedy of overdose all too well.
It's small enough to fit in a pocket.
It's fairly, I guess, user-friendly.
And Officer Tom Coyne is using Narcan more and more.
This is a single-dose application of it, so you'd go in one nostril or the other.
Coyne is part of the Madison Area Addiction Recovery Initiative, a team that tries to save individuals who are overdosing. It often uses Narcan, and Coyne says getting it into the hands of more individuals only helps the mission.
It's removed some of those barriers for people in the community that are suffering from either have had an opioid overdose or are living an active addiction.
Coyne says fentanyl is the main factor behind overdoses in the city.
Just expect there to be fentanyl in everything at this point because we're seeing it in everything at this point.
The Wisconsin Department of Health says fentanyl overdose deaths statewide grew by 97% from 2019 to 2021. Nationally, more than 107,000 Americans died in 2021 due to overdose, the highest tally in U.S. history. According to the latest data from the CDC, 66% of those were due to synthetic opioids, like fentanyl.
This is a huge public health epidemic. It's a huge public health crisis.
National advocate Angela Kennecke says the rising number of overdoses is boosting the urgency to make Narcan more available.
And I think it's just like any other safety tool we have out there, like an EpiPen or a defibrillator. We just need to make sure that we get Narcan in as many homes as possible.
Kennecke's mission is to end the stigma toward addiction and help people. She spent much of her career in front of the camera as an Emmy-winning news anchor in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Behind the scenes, though, tragedy hit home.
My 21-year-old daughter, Emily, died of fentanyl poisoning in 2018, and she was very young. She didn't know what she was taking. She didn't intend to die.
Since then, Kennecke has shared her daughter's story, including on national shows like CBS Mornings.
I have to talk about it. I have an obligation to talk about it.
And even at the Dolby Theater, where the Oscars are held every year, she's also created Emily's Hope, a foundation named after her daughter that promotes addiction education and resources for treatment and recovery.
There's also a lot of shame and stigma that goes along with the disease of addiction, or even going up to a pharmacy and asking for Narcan. So being able to just walk in and buy this at a grocery store, a drugstore, or wherever is going to reduce that shame and stigma.
Over-the-counter Narcan is expected in stores late this summer. Coyne says for something that's small enough to fit in your pocket, its ability to make a difference is huge.
As a community, we've been playing catch-up with the opioid crisis, and I think this gives us a tool to gain some ground.
Kennecke is already worried about the cost of over-the-counter Naloxone or Narcan being too expensive. High demand for Naloxone led to companies raising its price 500% over a 4-year period, starting in 2014. So by 2018, the out-of-pocket cost for Naloxone for the uninsured was $250 versus $18 for insured people. Kennecke hopes competition between the drug companies will keep it affordable.
And unfortunately, people that need it probably may not have insurance.
Right. So this over-the-counter thing, it's huge. So if we could, if the advocates and lobbyists could work to drive that price down, that could help a lot more people.
It's so brave of her to share this story everywhere she can after what she went through with her daughter. It could potentially save some lives and help other families.
Her foundation has done a lot of good work in that state and also nationally, and we have that information under the story on the website as well.
Keeping her daughter's memory alive.
Yes, yeah.
Great story, Brady. Thank you.